Crypto Cats, my name is Tom, I am the crypto investor, and it's time for our weekly market roundup. We start as ever with the heat map of the top 100 coins in crypto, and what another amazing and eventful week it has been. We have a new all-time high put in place for Bitcoin, though it has actually is currently down for the week 0.7%, which might surprise many of you. We got as high as 66,000, but have given back nearly 10% of the value of Bitcoin, as some people have taken profits. But the good news is that when you get an all-time high, they are statistically likely followed by another all-time high and many more. There is little resistance up there for Bitcoin. We are almost out in blue sky. And so this means that we have not just had a dead cat bounce, we are likely going to be pushing much higher in the market. So it's great to get that confirmation. By the way, if you do like the content, please hit the like button. Yep, that's it. And do subscribe, share it with your mates. Really appreciate the support of the channel, and write your comments. I like all the kind comments that you do leave. All right, Ethereum is up 4.7%. It's broken $4,000. This will be the first time that Ethereum has closed above $4,000 if it can stay up here for another 6 or so hours. Generally, layer one's doing very well. Solana, they're offering, I think there's some staking rewards with Solana that weren't there before. It kissed its prior all-time high at 210. It's come back a bit to 192, but up 16% still for the week. Generally, other layer ones, Phantom is breaking up into all-time highs, as is Harmony One, Near. Polygon is looking pretty good as well. So yeah, generally just looking pretty nice in this space. Shiba continues, as much as I kind of poo-poo Shiba, they do have an incredible network effect of many, many loyal users. And so, if they can then use the protocol to do more productive things, then why not? But it is 11th by market cap. I don't know how much higher it can push from there, but we will see. All right, let's have a look at the bubbles. Well, there's Shiba up 70% for the week. Nexo token looking very strong. It has been boring and flat. It is up 55% for the week. If you don't use Nexo, there's a link below. I encourage you to do so. I use it and get 8% return on my Bitcoin and Ethereum on there. And if you hold a certain amount of Nexo tokens, you get that maximum return of 8% with them. I think they do 12% for stablecoins as well. So, it's a centralized exchange for that, but hey, it's a pretty good return, and it's where I keep a little bit of mine. So good to see that token doing well. 4chain Rune is also looking pretty good. The exchange OKB doing very well as well. I don't know why. Well, if anyone knows, please do tell me. And yeah, generally we are looking pretty rosy. So looking at the total value locked in layer 2, you can see that we're just coming up to $4 billion now, and Arbitrum continues to be top of the chart. So this is helping Ethereum to scale. Optimism obviously came out first, and it just doesn't seem to get that much traction. Arbitrum has just blown it out of the water. It has 60% of the market share, 10x pretty much that of Optimism, and continues to be the market leader. The exchange DYDX in second place with 22%. I use them for lightly leveraged Ethereum. Experts only. Do not use leverage unless you really know what you're doing. But yeah, Arbitrum, great guns, great to see. And I think we see this get over 100 billion over the next year or so. This is just the beginning of layer 2 value locked. It is good. And talking of value locked, the TVL in DeFi, traditional DeFi 1.0, which it's only been around a year or so, but it already fills old hat, has hit $100 billion and exceeded it. So we have the TVL of DeFi for the first time over $100 billion. Let's look forward to when it gets to $1 trillion. But what is, the thing with this is that DeFi 1.0, this doesn't include DeFi 2.0, the likes of Olympus Dow and Spell and Time and Klima and all of these new exciting protocols that are offering massive returns. Like Time, I think I get 42,000% paid in their token, of course, that's how they can do it. And Olympus Dow going great guns as well. So if you were to include the amount locked in there, we'd have a much higher number, and the DeFi Pulse Index wouldn't look so sorry for itself. But yeah, massive to see this over 100 billion for the first time. All right, let's get into some news pieces. So Facebook launches its digital currency wallet Novi, but this is interesting because they are using the Paxos dollar. Why is that interesting? Because that's built on Ethereum, which means that every single transaction, should this go live, will be burning Ethereum. I think it's hard to underestimate how important the number of transactions going on the network and burning Ethereum is for the upward pushing of the value of Ethereum. And this is just one of many stablecoin adoptions. Even this week, actually, I saw that Israel are looking to do a digital shekel, which would also be on Ethereum. They've been trialing using Ethereum for the country's digital currency. And just think, if further countries all choose to use the safest and most robust layer 1 Ethereum, and maybe all central digital currencies run on Ethereum in the future, mind-blowing. So yeah, another feather in the hat for Ethereum, the fact that Facebook are looking to use Paxos there. Sorry I'm such an ether maxi. I'm trying my hardest not to be, but it's hard not to be. This is just an interesting thread. You can see that Ethereum users have paid $1 billion in transaction fees over the past 30 days. So you could look at that very negatively, or you could realize that that's been paid back to Ethereum holders because 82% of that has been burnt. So 824 million over the last 30 days been burnt. The best way to kind of give an analogy for this is like Apple, every time they sell an iPhone, doing a stock buyback for 82% of the cost of that Apple iPhone. And so, it just would keep on pushing the stock price up if they were always buying their stock. That's basically the same thing we're seeing with Ethereum. This is what makes it ultrasound. And this is why that's why I don't hold any Bitcoin and I only hold Ethereum as my big 50% portfolio wedge, because I just feel like as it's going to become a deflationary currency, whereas we will obviously still have mining of Bitcoin, the tokenomics weigh in Ethereum's favor significantly. Plus the environmental aspect as well. I'm passionate about the preservation of our planet and still have umbrage with the energy consumption of Bitcoin being the same as Sweden. I know that it is also potentially driving the adoption of renewable energies. I just can't quite get my head around using that renewable energy to power the Bitcoin network when we can potentially do this through proof of stake. Anyway, stop ranting, Tom. So this is interesting. So last time ETH was at 4K in May, we didn't have EIP 1559. We didn't have $2.3 billion of Ethereum burnt forever. ETH issuance has dropped 57% since then. We didn't have layer 2 working successfully. We didn't have NFTs really moving the needle. They were nothing. And now the volume of NFTs is quadrupled, burning. Staked ETH has nearly doubled, and we have an increase in DeFi total value locked quite significantly, as we've just seen. So, it's a very different story to when we got up here last time. And it's why I think as soon as we do take out that all-time high, I think we see the price of ETH double over a few weeks or so once we do take it out. So maybe we will build, maybe we will move sideways for a little bit below the all-time high and then an explosive move upwards. But we will see. Bitcoin has passed the value of the Swiss franc, making it the 13th largest currency in the world, if you were to consider it a currency. FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried has just raised $420 million, but you can see that he's shitposting people by doing 420.69 from 69 investors in a Series B funding round. This is the ridiculous world of crypto that we live in, all these 420s and 69s. I love it. So yeah, they're now valued at 25 billion. There's just so much venture capital money flooding into this space. It's ridiculous. That's why this run is very different to 2017. Now, institutional investors know that cryptocurrencies will be pervasive and succeed. And I think that's the very different environment that we find ourselves in compared to last time. Going macro on you can see that the UK Bank of England has said that they expect inflation to be 5% by early 2022. They're probably downplaying it slightly as well. They've been saying that this is transitory. It's not transitory. If you print this much money, you create inflation. It's going to force them to probably have to put interest rates up to cool this off at some point. We could fall into we could go into recession as a consequence. Anyway, what the point of this is inflation obviously is a significant tailwind and really helps the rhetoric of why cryptocurrency adoption is very important. When central banks are so reckless with the printing of their currency, you get inflation, and so then obviously that just makes it much more appealing to be holding the life raft to inflation in the form of cryptocurrencies. All right, this is, if you don't follow me on Twitter, check me out, Desert Island Tom. This is a tweet, I think this is really interesting. So The Economist, if you didn't read their article on DeFi a couple of months ago, very good article I thought, best kind of understanding I've seen from the TradFi world. Well, they made this lovely front cover going down the crypto rabbit hole, and they're auctioning that off as an NFT. And you know, they're probably going to make 100 grand from that. And do you think it's going to be the last time that they auction off a cover as an NFT? I imagine they'll make it a weekly thing after this, and then other magazines will do the same, and it just so goes. You know, this is how things continue to adopt. And the fact, as I've said here, crypto has this built-in incentive mechanism to propagate it. You know, if The Economist isn't doing this because they love crypto, they're doing this because they see the use case and the value proposition to adopt it and to make money from it. And as it rewards that, it rewards propagation. And so will be the same with like Andrew Yang of the Forward Party saying that he's, you know, supportive of the crypto space and he wants crypto donations to be a voice in this space. And other politicians will do the same. And you know, there's so much money in the space and so many built-in incentive mechanisms to adopt it that it just, again, makes it inevitable. It gets its tentacles in everywhere. And so, you know, this could be considered a very small piece of news, but I see this as quite major, and tip my hat to The Economist for being one of the kind of first traditional institutions to be adopting NFTs and benefiting from them. I think Time Magazine did something similar actually as well, so maybe I shouldn't give full credit to The Economist, but watch this space. Many other magazines will likely do the same. And talking of that, same vein of thoughts, that the NBA are now, Coinbase are the official sponsors, crypto platform, of the NBA. So again, the NBA recognizing that they can make money from the crypto space, and there's a lot of money going around. So, you know, I think that's fairly big news that they the Coinbase and the NBA are working together. Okay, so I mentioned buying an all-time high. Many people are scared to buy crypto at an all-time high. They think they might be a mug left bag holding, but all-time highs are statistically good times to buy because one all-time high is typically followed by another all-time high. This graph shows us the S&P 500, and these green dots are when the market is within 1% of an all-time high, and these blue dots 5% of an all-time high. And you can see that, you know, once you get a green dot printed, once an all-time high is printed, it's typically followed by many more. And so I think it's something like a 86% probability that within a month of an all-time high, you get another all-time high in the stock market. And so is the way with cryptocurrencies as well. So likelihood is when we get this, as we get a breakout, so we're kind of having a retest now, but once we get that full breakout, there is no resistance. Bitcoin will be sailing out in blue sky with no resistance, and so we'll likely print many more all-time highs on top of it. So don't be afraid of buying at market peaks. All right, Facebook's metaverse fantasy. So Facebook are looking to rebrand the company as a metaverse company. They're actually going to probably change their name to like Socialverse or whatever it might be. So that's one thing. They're also employing 10,000 people across Europe to help build their metaverse. So again, this is like the 5th biggest company in the world, effectively voting with their wallet that they believe the metaverse is here to stay, and that, you know, Web 3.0 is the future. The idea that all kind of digital assets will be owned by users online and traded online. So again, bullish. This is Terra Luna, a number of transactions. Terra Luna is similar to Ethereum, obviously burns, every transaction now burns. They had their EIP 1559 moment, and the transactions are going up and up and up to the right. So Terra Luna is becoming ultrasound money, and I think they've just printed an all-time high for Luna. This is the earnings for the stock market this week. We have many of the big companies, many of the FANG stocks announcing their earnings for the quarter. And the reason I bring this up is because I've just got a sneaking suspicion that maybe, and one of these companies might say that they've got some crypto on their books. And I'm betting on Visa. So Visa bought a CryptoPunk about 2 months ago. So they had to have some Ethereum to do so. That's unequivocal. But have they actually bought a proper weighting of Ethereum? Have they actually got a big lump of Ethereum on their books? If they do, wow, wouldn't that be massive uber bullish news? So, you know, it's still it's a long shot, I know, but that's kind of something I'm anticipating on Tuesday. I'm most likely will be disappointed, but you never know. And there's lots of other big tech names as well. So you may find that that someone has added some Bitcoin or some ETH. But yeah, that's just something that I'm cautiously optimistic. Wouldn't that be massive? We would see the market going stratospheric on the back of something like that. Okay, so DeFi 2.0. I bought some Olympus Dow this week. I encourage you to check it out. This is also part of the Olympus Dow. This is a spin-off from them. It's a carbon neutral crypto, but again, massive yields you get for staking this. I can't remember what they offer you, like 50,000% APY, as is the same with Time and Ohm. So if you don't already have some Ohm, this is these very decent token to be holding right now, because they pay you, what, 7,200% APY, because they're basically giving a supply of the tokens to the token holders, so they reward you in Ohm. Looks like we're going to take out that previous all-time high last week after it was a 50% crash at one point, but has recovered very nicely, and I think we go higher from here. So yeah, if you're not in DeFi 2.0, it seems to be where the real momentum is right now. And finally, Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal, has said that he is underinvested in crypto. So it's just basically more rhetoric that that people are uber bullish on this space. All right, let's jump into the charts. Let's start with Bitcoin. We're just selling off a little bit in the last few hours. In fact, I mean, ever since we've hit that all-time high, we have really been in a slight kind of downward channel. If we look on the weekly, we do have quite a nasty looking shooting star, which obviously is traditionally a very bearish candle, but they have only something like a 42% success rate of indicating a downtrend. So it doesn't mean that we are about to see a reversal. So yeah, it looks pretty ugly, to be honest, to have that big selling pressure come in after the launch of the ETF. But we're also coming into support now. This is where we were trying to break out. We've broken out. We're now effectively coming in for that retest. I expect Bitcoin to find support here and to resume upwards. It's also where we had the previous higher closes as well, you can see here. So I'm expecting this to be quite a nice entry. Also at that round psychological number of 60,000. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce from here. Let's see. Hopefully it does bounce. Please have a bounce. Ethereum. So we had we kissed the all-time high. I think we missed it by like 20 bucks. And then again, similar to Bitcoin, has sold off, but we are still holding in this upward channel. You can see that I've drawn it on here. And so ETH just channeling its way upwards right now at support. Really nice entry on Ethereum, in my opinion. I think that we dawdle our way along here, and maybe we start to coil underneath the all-time high and then break it in an impulsive move. But I don't feel that we're losing our upward momentum yet. I still think this is looking fine to me. And if we close here, it's going to be the highest close ever for Ethereum. Looking at the ratio between Ethereum and Bitcoin, you can see that, as I had this really important trend line on here, resistance for 2 years, we broke above it in the anticipation of the IP 1559, stopped at the 50%, and now we are basically channeling down in this wedge. I think we probably stay in this wedge. Ethereum has had a very good week versus Bitcoin. From the session lows, it is up 12% versus Bitcoin. But I think, we come up here, we hit our head, we come back down. I think this plays out for quite some time until, so if we get to the end of this will be about April 2022, which, as you know, is when we will have ETH 2.0, the merge, more or less. And so I think this probably plays out until we get the successful merge, until we get sharding, and then bang. I think then, that's when ETH is officially ultrasound money. So let's see. But that I do expect the 50% to be taken out. And eventually, I do feel that the flippening is inevitable. ETH will never be as beautifully decentralized as Bitcoin, but it will have a diminishing supply and continued application and burning through transactions. And so I do think we eventually do get up here, but probably not for another, probably a couple of years or so. Looking at ETH's dominance, it has had 2 consecutive weeks on the up, sitting at 18.8% of the total market. Bitcoin has had a negative week in market dominance, dropping. It was hitting a high of 47.6, but it's come back down now to just below 45% of the total market. And the total market itself is just up for the week at $2.5 trillion. It is a all-time high we did hit a new all-time high for the market at $2.75 trillion, and has come back off a bit, but it's still green for the week. And I think we continue to march on up, personally. Looking at DeFi, first we'll look at DeFi versus ETH, the ugliest chart in crypto. Let's take this onto the daily. It just continues to be disgusting and going down and down and down. But as I said, this doesn't represent DeFi 2.0, which is where we're seeing all the enthusiasm and hype right now. It's a very hard thing to be valued in, of course, Ethereum. So yeah, not looking good. However, saying that, the Metaverse Index manages to be just out-competing Ethereum this week. So I still think MVI is a great pick for people's portfolio. I'm very bullish on the play to earn and Metaverse tokens. What was the other one to look at? Oh yeah, just showing you DeFi in US dollars. More forgiving, of course, to be valued in US dollars. It has been up for the last 2 weeks, and it's not setting the world on fire though. Solana has had a solid week, and it tested its all-time high, as I said, 215, there it was. But a very nice breakout from this pennant formation which we had in place. We got the breakout. We're now coming off. Now we'll see where this goes. The market is just slightly selling off whilst I record this, but I don't think it's not a reversal. It's a nice buying opportunity as far as I can see. So as and when this resumes up, we likely see Solana come and take out this all-time high at 215. All right. That is it. This is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for staying to the end, loyal crypto cats. You're the best. And happy investing, everyone. I hope your portfolios are looking nice and green, and I will speak to you soon. All the best.